So, you want to be an accountant? What do accountants do anyway? What do you need to do to become an accountant? And how much do accountants make a year? If you want to be an accountant, or your son or daughter, uncle, aunt, nephew, niece, or friend want to be an accountant, please stick around and share this video with them. Hello everyone, my name is JP from JP Financial and Accounting, Everyday Finance Made Simple. On this channel, we try to train, to coach and equip you in relevant money management skills. And above this, of course, we always try to glean as much wisdom as possible from scripture. Before we look at what we are talking about today, please do like the video, comment below, share with friends or family, and of course, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. I really appreciate your support. Yes, as I said, today we are talking about how to become an accountant. If you want to train as an accountant, what do you need to do? What steps do you need to take to become an accountant? I will briefly share all that information here and lead you to the relevant sources. Okay, let's start with the big one. How much do accountants make? If you became an accountant, how much will you be paid annually? The answer, of course, is it depends. I reviewed a few websites where you can find this information, and the range is huge. Let us just look at one. I just googled average salary for an accountant. If you look at this one, what do they say? Our survey revealed that the average salary for an accountant in the UK is £62,042 per year. And of course, this is just an average. If you look at this year, the range is huge. For example, part qualified accountants can earn between 11,975 to 95,000. So it is a huge range. But if you think about it, if the average is 62,000 per year, and we know that the average pay in the UK is about 27,000, so it is safe to say that accountants get paid way more than the average person in the UK, and perhaps even more than many other professionals. However, accountants are not rich. You cannot be rich by becoming an accountant. If you want to become rich, the best way is to start your own business. Okay, let us move on. What are the advantages of being an accountant? What are the disadvantages? What does it involve when you are an accountant? Let us start with a myth buster firstly. You do not need to be a genius to become an accountant. Yes, we deal with numbers, we do crunch numbers, but you do not need to be a maths genius. In fact, in practice, you'll spend more time talking other things other than numbers. So yes, being good with numbers helps, but you do not need to be very good with numbers. The second myth buster is you do not need an accounting degree to become an accountant. In fact, many accountants have degrees in other fields. You can have a degree in sociology, for instance. As long as you have good grades or a strong academic background, you can become an accountant even after finishing your chemistry degree. One of the greatest advantages in being an accountant is that you can work across all fields. For instance, you can work in small businesses. A small business with just one employee needs an accountant. A multi-billion-dollar corporation needs accountants. The government needs accountants. The private sector needs accountants. So you can work across all fields. You are not limited to one industry. Accountants are always in demand because we work across sectors and industries. So think about it. In a new business startup, they need accountants to set up the business. Even when a business is folding, is going into liquidation, they need an accountant to wind down the business. This reminds me, a few years ago, I worked for one business and it was winding up. And I was the last person to leave the business because I had to wind up that legal entity, close bank accounts, pay taxes to the government. The last thing I did there when I left that business was to pay myself to close it. So you'll see accountants are needed regardless of the status of the business. As I said earlier on, accountants are not just about number crunching. In fact, one business that I worked for, the motto for the accountancy department was being trusted business advisors. So when you're an accountant, you get exposed to different aspects of the business. You are involved with the salespeople, you are involved with the purchasing people, you are involved with the engineers, you are involved with the manufacturers. You get to see all aspects of business, which is great if you want to start up your own business. It gives you good practice of having a 360-degree view of business. Another advantage of being an accountant is that you can be valuable to charities. You can help. For instance, I help my church as a treasurer because of my accounting background. Not that you need to be an accountant to be a treasurer, but it helps when you've got that background. So if you like helping people, being an accountant can give you that advantage. Another advantage of being an accountant is that it is a recession-proof profession. What do I mean by that? When the economy is in recession, accountants are needed to make sure that the business navigates its way through that recession. If you love adventure and like to travel the globe, accounting can be perfect for that because accountants are recognized globally. So how can you become an accountant in the UK? The steps that I'm going to share with you normally work in many different countries, especially in the English-speaking world. You'll notice that the steps are very, very similar. Step number 1, you have to choose a training route. As I said earlier on, you do not need a degree to become an accountant. Straight after your A-levels, if you want, you can train as an accountant. Again, in the English-speaking world, of course, maybe with North America and Australia being the exception, there are 3 main recognized accounting qualifications. The first one is called ACCA, the second one is called ACCA, and the third one is called CIMA. There are many others outside these, but generally speaking, these are the most recognizable. This is the first step that you need to take. Decide which training route you want to take. I must add that the exams to qualifying as an accountant can be very challenging. They are not insurmountable, they are not extremely difficult, but they can be challenging to the young. So if after your A-levels you go straight into it, you need to make sure that you are committed to work extra hard. However, there are other routes that you could take to avoid tackling these exams straight after A-levels. And an accounting degree would help. There's a qualification called AAT, which you can use as a route. If you get that qualification, when you get to do your ACA or your ACCA or your CIMA, you will get exemptions from some exams. And also, the advantage of doing this, it gives you a bit of time to mature. And an accounting degree, of course, will do something similar. It gives you time to mature while you prepare to take those difficult exams. Having said this, tackling the exams straight from school is by far the cheapest way of becoming an accountant. So what is ACCA, what is ACA, and what is CIMA? CIMA stands for Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. In theory, CIMA is supposed to train accountants for business. If you read the promotional material on this on CIMA, they'll tell you that they are concerned with business accounting. In other words, you are looking at management accounting, supporting business to become profitable. That's the main focus of CIMA. What about ACA? Actually, the full name for ACA is the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. This is their website. With the ACA qualification, you are really starting off as an auditor in many instances. Of course, there are other ways you can gain this qualification, but their main focus is assurance or auditing. It is best to choose ACA if you wish to start your training as an auditor. You can get a training contract with one of the chartered accountancy firms, and they will train you as an ACA. ACCA stands for the Association of Certified Chartered Accountants. ACCA is very similar to the ACA qualification because also they tend to focus more on auditing and financial accounting. But in practice, very few employers will make a distinction between these qualifications. Whichever one you choose Once you are qualified, you'll notice that you'll be able to work across all sectors. So this is my personal opinion. One is not better than any other. Although it's in some instances, the ACCA qualification may be seen as more prestigious. Step number 2, you need to start your training. Once you have chosen the route that you want to take, is it ACCA, is it ACCA, is it CIMA, you decide how you want to do your training. You can do it full time and go to college and do it. Or you could do it by distance learning. Typically, training takes between 18 months and 3 years. Of course, depending on your background. It can take much longer if you fail your exams. Step number 3, you can pick a specialty, but you don't necessarily have to. There are many specialties that you can choose from in accounting. You can choose financial accounting, you can choose management accounting, you can choose forensic accounting, you can choose tax, you can choose risk assessment. There are many options. I have some of them on the screen right now. But you can research each individual one and choose the one that you think would work best for you. Step number 4, you need to get real-world accounting experience. Many employers are willing to take trainee accountants, or what is normally referred to as part-qualified accountants. And many employers are willing to pay for your training. So it is good to get the experience while you are training. I said earlier on, there are what we normally refer to as the Big 4 accounting firms, which are PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, and Ernst & Young. Those take trainee accountants in thousands annually. But apart from the Big 4, there are many other top accounting firms that take trainees annually. But also, you can get trained in industry. In all my previous employments, we've had programs where companies are willing to take young people, train them as accountants, pay for their training until they get the qualification. And of course, normally there will be strings attached that you have to work for the employer for so many years before you leave because they have paid for your training. If you're starting out, I'd advise you to go and read as much as possible from the website of ACA, ACCA, and CIMA and AAT. And also you can look at the websites of the top accountancy firms. I did mention the Big 4 earlier on, but again, as I said, if you just type chartered accountants, you will see many firms that will come up that may be willing to train you. And then, of course, you can also look at many different firms. They do advertise apprentices or training, accounting training vacancies. Even in the public sector, your NHS, your ministries, they advertise regularly for trainee accountants. So that's a good way to get started. Okay, step number 5. If you wish, you can start your own accounting firm. Many accounting firms are started by individuals and they grow and grow from there on. So accounting is a great way of starting your own business. Finally, let us go to our verse of the day. Our verse of the day today comes from Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3. And it reads, "Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established." I like this verse because it says when we commit our work to the Lord, whatever we plan will be established. This does not only apply to accounting or choosing a career, but it applies to all aspects of our lives. When we commit our work to the Lord, pray to the Lord and ask Him to show you which way you should go. And if your work is committed to the Lord, your plans will be established. You will be able to realize whatever your dream is. Thank you very much for watching the video. Again, please like the video, comment below, share video with family and friends, especially with younger people that are considering accounting as a career. Bye for now. See you in the next video. God bless.